station in 400 times.
Okay.
The total vote cast is 56,230. And so for 35,455 out of that, and Reverend Petuado got 30,466. Now, after the time I got these figures, we had 10 more polling stations to go.
Okay.
And that's the best I can do right now. While we are still collating.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear how impatient the people are here. Yeah.
Okay. And I will return to you pretty shortly for that latest update, because I want to come back there again. Once you are able to get, we're struggling. Hello, sweetie.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, yes. Can you go over the figures again for us? We just want to know, as of now, what are the figures from the constituencies you have so far? From the polling stations you have so far?
Okay, as of now, I have 25,455 for Esco. And for Reverend Petuado, I have 30,466. But there are 10 polling station results that have not been added to this figure I'm giving you right now.
Okay. Suji, thank you very much. We'll return to you once you know more. 10 to go. Yes. It's around the corner. We can get the clarity there. But Samson, that's a picture. And this is a state of play in Abekuma West. 25,000.
When there were 70 polling stations left.
Yeah.
And Reverend Ado was at 22,000.
Close it up.
So out of the 70 polling stations left, you have 60 cleared. And Esla is at 25, and Reverend Ado is at 30.
It means 8,000 on, more or less, because it used to be 22,000 to say 17,000. Esla gets to 25,000, and Reverend gets to 30,000. So if there was anything to go by, I think that signal is clear. You can see what is likely to happen.
It's beginning to look like...
So this is what we need to do. There are 10, right? Let's assume that there are 700. No more than 700 per polling.
Yes.
700 by 10 gives you what?
7,000.
If you give all 7,000 to Esther,
she could win.
She wins. That is,
this is it. Let's look at.
She wins it, but she wins it by.
Let's look at
the 10 out.
Okay, so let's look at
the 10 out is low because we don't know that.
It's around 60%. So if you look at the 60% of say 700, you're looking at around 400.
True.
It means she can't win it, even if you give all of it to her.
But let's just presume that and of course what you're saying is absolutely true. Presuming that everybody in only the 10 polling stations decided to go and vote will be unreasonable. It will be a highest estimation, which will not happen.
Of course.
Yes, of course. So a more reasonable one is looking at, say, let's repeat, the previous year, 75%.
75%.
Yes, and 75% of the 7,000 will be taken off, let's say, less than 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Which will still mean that Esther can make an impact. It is looking like she has very little chance. We are pretending that the guy who is leading, Reverend Ado,
he's not going to get
is not getting any vote at all.
He will get votes.
Of course.
Which is, in fact, by our trend we are establishing, he's more likely to get more of the votes than Esla in the trends we are establishing. So, by all indications, this is more likely to be either close and very close, or the Reverend has removed the slows.
And remember, as I indicated earlier, that even some of the NPP members in the constituency where I vote have not been happy with Esla.
Okay.
Because she had made a sort of... entered into a sort of a covenant with them that she was not going to contest this time because it would be the turn of one of the NPP guys, Ronnie Nicole. And Ronnie Nicole, unfortunately, couldn't make it because Esla sprung a surprise that she was going to go again. And Ronnie attempted. It didn't work.
He lost woefully in that.
Yes, and Esla had come under such immense pressure in the constituency. She saw something like this coming. And so the development work, road work, has been
The last minute ones.
yes, the last minute one. And the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
the last
yeah,
2 weeks.
true, yeah.
Yes, there's been a lot of work that's being done across the constituency.
A few more constituencies just to announce.
Yeah, but-
Okay,
Yeah,
before you go, Eslosu is one of the beneficiaries of the botched NPP's affirmative action policy. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original policy. She was one of the people who was being considered heavily for that particular
You see,
one.
this is a woman whom in 2020 was actually on a national campaign tour, campaigning in other areas apart from her constituency. In fact, she felt so comfortable with her constituency
You made a point that
she was actually campaigning in other parts of the country, going into campaign for other.
She was rumored to be potentially looking to vice presidential,
Yes.
slots.
Yeah, I mean, you're making the point about her dominance, right? In the area that she didn't even have to worry about her own.
No, she didn't worry about her constituency.
Well, actually,
She was
worried
campaigning in
about-
other constituencies.
This is
Ablekuma West.
Ablekuma West. That's it here. Okay, so if you look at the trends here, tells us her performance.
Yeah.
But she's been dropping, as you know.
She has been.
The percentage of outcomes has been dropping all the way to the worst performance yet in the 2020.
Yeah. but of
Whatever
course-
it is, since 2012, she's held control over the
Area. Okay, there are more results coming through. I want to quickly go through for us before we take a quick break. Central region still, and I want to bring in Herman Lower Dentra, where the MPP wins it by 17,228, and this is parliamentary. Lawrence Jingsam wins it by 7,228.
That's massive.
Yes. And then the Seth Japan Mensa, 9,527. And that is the NDC candidate there. Now, let's see what the story was the previous year, because then that tells us a story. Hold the numbers for me. Bride Rekubobe. Anybody know?
So this was
Yes,
close.
the former deputy, what they call employment
Minister.
Yes.
So in 2020, it was close. Bright Rekubobe getting some 52.9%.
So they were different candidates.
Different candidates. This time he
candidates.
gets over 60%.
But what it is that this MPP candidate here is swimming against the tide.
Yes.
The tide is saying that he shouldn't be doing this well.
As well, not only winning, but also winning by a higher margin,
Yeah.
and also a bigger one, 17 against 14,000.
Yeah.
Let's check the trend. Let's check the trend, because
Look at the trend.
the trend will tell you, yes.
No people wins it.
Yes.
No,
Parliamentary,
but there was an NDC showing in 2012.
2012.
Yes.
Okay.
2012. But he wins it. It's their best performance.
But the NDC candidate merely made it through. Watch it. It was just 50.1.
50.1. But
Which is not a
I guess
very
the most
big showing.
important point to make for me is that in the morning, when everything has been against the MPP,
It's a bright spot.
this is a bright spot. First time we are going to say that somebody has put in a best performance yet for the MPP in a constituency.
And it's true. This is swimming against the tide.
Against
because
hugely.
everything's been going against
Hugely.
the MPP so far.
Hugely.
Yeah. Even when they are winning it.
That makes me even more curious to learn what happened at the presidential level. Makes it more
Okay,
curious.
let's see that.
Let's see that.
No, but this is problematic.
So why? Because you're looking at, clear this for me. You're looking here at this. I'm pretty sure you're looking at this
Yes.
and you're comparing it to that.
Yeah.
Why is that an issue for you?
When your president, first and foremost, when your parliamentary candidate gets 70,000 and you, the presidential candidate, you are getting 13,000, that's problematic, first and foremost. He got 63%. His, what they call it, presidential candidate gets 52%, a 10 percentage point difference. And again, the NPP's last showing was 59%. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, and let's get it straight. We were saying in your first election, you win well. That is 2016, 58%. The next election, you reduce by some percentage generally with the thinking that you're not going to get as well. But he did 59%, better than 2016. Now, the next showing, when they changed the candidate and put in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, his best so far, his greatest input is 52%. He did worse than his own parliamentary candidate, and he did worse than the previous presidential candidate. This is where the catastrophe is.
Yeah, it is a catastrophe indeed in terms of the drop in votes over the period. And I know JM, though,
In fact, his showing is consistent with that of the parliamentary candidates anyway, even though he also does slightly better than John Dramani Mahama.
But hold on a minute. I think John Mahama does better than his parliamentary candidate. Yes, bring the parliamentary results, you would find out that John Mahama does better. He gets 12,000.
Oh, okay. No, that's massive. That's actually more than 3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, he does better. Because you're adding the figures, and it takes you to somewhere around 26,000.
True. Yeah.
John Mahama does better than his.
And in 2020, what was his performance? He had 10,000.
True.
The 10,000.
So he's done 2,000 more than what happened previously.
Akufo-Addo has 16,000.
16,000. Yes.
Bawumia now gets 30,000. So he's dropped by some 3,000.
That's the story of the night.
That's the story of the night.
It's a story of the night.
There's a breaking news coming in, and I want to go there now. We understand coalition has halted in the Hafano North, right? Due to the last night, we know there were gunshots that we saw there.